Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, Counter Spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
We head back to June 9th, 1955 for an episode of Barrie Craig Confidential Investigator starring William Gargan. The episode is entitled Sucker Bait.
William Gargan stars as Barrie Craig, Confidential Investigator. Give a man enough rope and he'll hang himself. An old proverb, but don't believe it too implicitly. Give a man enough rope and he might hang you. A switch, but all in the line of work. After all, hangmen also eat. The National Broadcasting Company presents William Gargan in another transcribed drama of mystery and adventure with Barrie Craig, Confidential Investigator. Craig speaking. There's nothing like a college education. The hallowed halls of ivy is the perfect cure for moss on the brain. I had my own wits nicely sharpened a case or two ago, matriculating in an institution of higher learning known across the land as Blankhurst U. I'd been summoned to the dean's office. A mild-looking chap with eyeglasses that sat on the middle of his nose. His name was Palmer. Dean Percival Palmer.
My decision to employ you is personal. As you may know, we have a rather celebrated basketball team.
Enough said. I can fill in the rest. A rated basketball team grown too big for the old college gym. Gone big time. Big arenas, big gates, big dough, big bets. Players are bribed, games are dumped, etc., and so forth.
I've considered outlawing basketball at Blankhurst U.
Now, what are the facts?
There are no facts as such. Only whisperings, grave rumors, a seething undercurrent in the school and in the public press.
Well, spell out one specific rumor.
Very well. It is hinted that the contest of last week was, fixed.
Who played against Blankhurst U last week?
Stratton College. Stratton College was the obviously inferior team.
Well, obvious by what measurement?
Why, its record for the season. It had won but 2 contests and lost 14.
Pretty feeble, all right.
While Blankhurst U came into the contest with 16 victories and 3 defeats.
Making Blankhurst U the odds-on favorite. But Blankhurst U lost, huh?
Yes.
Well, how close was the score?
49 to 43. There was a sharp newspaper attack after the contest. A sports columnist named Sophie Slater writes a column called The Lowdown on Sports. He was almost libelous in what he wrote.
Well, who is the captain of the team?
Chris Ransom.
And who is the coach?
Sandy Bigelow.
Do the rumors touch Coach Bigelow?
Very much so.
Crooked coach. Rare, if true. It's usually one player that louses up a team. One susceptible sucker that gamblers can get to. However, when's the next game?
Tomorrow night. Blankhurst U plays Van Bursen College.
Well, who's favored to win?
Van Bursen College has yet to win one major contest this season.
Meaning if Van Bursen wins tomorrow, there's really something rotten in Blankhurst. The next night, I was a spectator, along with 20,000 other basketball fans. The game was played in the $1 Million Bates Coliseum. Everybody invited, regardless of pedigree, and nobody barred. Just pay the admission tab. Look over your shoulder and see half the graduating class of Sing Sing, 1935 to 55. College basketball was sure rubbing elbows with riffraff. Blankhurst figured to be a walk-away winner on its record. Only it wasn't. It was trailing in the last quarter, 67 to Van Bersen's 74. Trailing with only minutes left on the big clock. And then the final whistle blew. The catcalls and boos could be heard in Siam. If Blankhurst had lost legitimately, nobody believed it. I caught the captain of the team, Chris Ransom, under the showers. A gangling youngster who stood 6'6" high. Red hair and a crew cut. And freckles like somebody had splattered his face with a ripe tomato.
Hey, pass me a towel, huh?
Sure. Here you are.
Thanks. You're here to heckle me, huh?
Why do you say that?
You're the secret agent Dean Palmer wished on us.
Well, I see my fame has preceded me. Oh, whenever you're ready, Chris, I've got some questions.
Well, is this going to take long? I've got a date. New chick. I can lose her to 20 other guys.
Well, I'll make it brief.
Well, I'm holding you to that. Come on, we can chin in the locker room.
Captain Chris Ransom wasn't too candid a witness.
So we lost a few games. Why all the hullabaloo?
Well, Blankhurst lost 2 in a row to pushovers.
The team's on ragged edge. Beat, dog-tired.
I saw tonight's game. I made some mental reservations about it.
You gonna set yourself up as a basketball expert?
I know the game, Chris. I was a player as a youngster and a fan ever since.
All right, Mastermind, go ahead. What did you find suspicious about tonight's game?
For one thing, the money riding on it.
How would you know?
Faces in the crowd. Tony Capron, a big Eastern bookmaker. Vince Varden, a notorious fixer of prize fights and horse racing. Varden's been convicted for both. And then Johnny Minton, One-Eyed Meyer, Richie Silk, Bozo the Bull. Oh, you had a prize gallery of fans in the Coliseum tonight.
Is that the team's fault?
All right. I won't hold the gambling picture as I read it against the team. But answer me this. Why did you replace yourself in the last quarter?
Sprained ankle. I'd begun to limp.
Ankle looks fine to me now.
It wasn't then.
Second-string player subbing for you meant money in the bank for the gamblers, Chris. You're Blankhurst's anchor man, and it's top scorer.
Are you accusing me of deliberately...
I wouldn't accuse any boy of anything. Not until I have positive proof. Absolute evidence. You've got a big future ahead, and I'd hate to see it wrecked by stigma or innuendo. I'm a cop, but I worry about that.
Thanks for some kind words.
Okay. Go keep that hot date, Buster. Coach Sandy Bigelow was even less cooperative, let alone friendly, than his team captain.
I don't take kindly to private snoops annoying my players.
Well, don't complain to me.
Dean Palmer exceeded his powers in hiring you. I'm going before the Board of Trustees.
Meanwhile, let's talk.
I deny every rumor. I've got a bunch of fine kids, straight as a die, every mother's son of them.
I picked up this morning's paper on the way over. A columnist named Soapy Slater gets off a few remarks.
Soapy Slater? Why, the man's an irresponsible muckraking...
They low down on sports. Let me read you a few lines. Last night's only Blankhurst Van Bersen winner was a betting combine. Wonder who Coach Bigelow really obliged in surprise benching of star forward Wisnowski.
Tyranny by innuendo. But I'm thick-skinned, Craig. In 20 years of coaching, I've developed a rhinoceros hide. I pay no attention to columnists.
Well, why did you bench Wisnowski?
He's a show-off. He's in the race for highest scoring honors in the National Basketball. And all he thought about was swelling his total. Also, he was playing to his girl in the stands. She'd flown in from Dubuque to see her hero in action. You understand my benching him now?
Yes, I do. I want to ask you some blunt questions, Coach.
Fire away.
Do you suspect any of your players of dumping?
Not a one.
As far as you know, has any player or players suddenly taken on a prosperous look, like free spending, clothes, girls, convertibles?
There's been absolutely nothing like that. Well, do you have any other blunt questions?
Yeah, a hard one to ask. You probably take a punch at me.
Yeah, I know the question you intend asking. Am I crooked? Am I dumping games by cleverly mishandling my team? Am I getting a payoff somewhere?
I've heard it whispered.
Oh, why? You hear it whispered wherever basketball is played these days. Because one or two crooked teams have been exposed, the rest of us bear the brunt. We have to pay for our innocence.
Then, for the record, you denounced the rumors around about you.
You're tempting me to throw that punch.
Sunday in a college town is a day of cemetery quiet. I checked into the nearest recreation lounge. The joint was the annex to a hotel, the Hotel Olympia. I had a key to room 222. The bartender, drink, please. You decide what. I want to be surprised. I was halfway through a drink advertised as Campus Conniption, 99 cents, when a gent came close enough to breathe on me. He looked more of a stranger in town than me. Beefy jowls, a stick pin with a diamond the size of a walnut, and yellow shoes. His kisser was not unfamiliar.
Hello, Craig. Place the face?
Yes. I didn't know the circus was in town.
The New York joke's out of place here.
So are you, Smiley.
I got a sister living here in town. I'm visiting.
Why?
Well, sit down. I'll tell you why.
Okay. I'm tingling with expectancy.
You'll be tingling all right when you see what I got for you. Here. For your old age.
Well, what's inside the brown wrapping?
$1,000 in 20s.
For me?
For you.
For what?
For nothing. And I got something else for you. Let's see. Yeah, here in my vest pocket. For you, Craig, my compliments.
A railroad ticket.
One way, clear to Times Square. One look at you at the bar, I knew you were homesick. Your train's in an hour. Give my regards to Broadway.
Very sorry, Smiley.
You're gonna be foolish?
I am.
The boys and me are making a buck. What's it to you?
Nothing. That's a job for the authority. I'm here to crack down on fixing and fixers. Stop the corruption of a basketball squad.
And you're here for nothing, Craig. There's nothing to it. No fix, no bribing players.
You expect me to believe that?
Sounds corny to say, I know, but we haven't been able to reach a player. We try, but no dice.
And why try so hard to ship me home?
We're running lucky. We don't want a jinx. So the boys made up a pool. $1,000. Get rid of you. They don't want no evil eye. If you don't grab the G, you're a sap.
Put it back in your pocket, Smiley.
June 9th, 1955, Barrie Craig Confidential Investigator on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
You ever make a change and then think, why didn't I do this years ago? Well, that's how people feel about switching to Medishare for their health care, especially now with inflation the way it is. People are very happy with the savings. Most families save about $500 a month when they switch. It's a huge help when prices are going up so fast in so many other areas. And Medishare's customer satisfaction rate is double that of health insurance. It's just a different experience, and people really like that. Medishare is an alternative to health insurance. It's a community of Christians who share each other's healthcare bills, and it's been going strong for over 25 years. It really is the gold standard, the most trusted name in healthcare sharing. Find out why people love it, find out why they rave about the customer service, and find out how good it feels to save some money right now. They're super easy to talk to. Here's the number, 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE, 833-34-BIBLE.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, more of Barrie Craig Confidential Investigator starring William Gargan, June 9th, 1955.
Morning begins early in Hicktown. I've been in bed 7 hours, eyes wide open. Hotel rooms have that effect on me. I mean, flowered wallpaper has. State who you are.
This is Soapy Slater of the Herald Gazette. Good morning.
It will be in 2 hours.
Rise and shine. It's 7 o'clock.
Oh, do I hate cheerful early risers.
Mr. Craig, can I see you?
Why?
Something pertinent to your work on behalf of Dean Palmer.
Oh.
In an hour, say?
Well, since I'm now doomed to stay awake.
At your hotel, then, I'll join you at the breakfast table.
Good enough. Soapy Slater really did have vital, confidential information.
Coffee's good. Now, at least 3 games were dumped by Blankhurst U.
Well, give me concrete proof.
I got another kind of proof.
Guesswork's no good, Slater. Let's not be callous about the reputations and futures of a lot of young men.
Oh, I respect your sensitivity there. I hate to see any young man stigmatized, but suppose my criminal information doesn't concern any of the young men.
None of the players?
No player, just the coach.
Sandy Bigelow?
Sandy Bigelow, yes. Now, if you'll listen.
Shoot.
I'm a newspaper man. I have sources of information.
Now, get down to it. What information did you receive about Sandy Bigelow?
That he was seen consorted with gamblers in an out-of-the-way roadhouse called the Blue Lantern, run by Gussie Daniels. Now, drive out and talk to Gussie, why don't you? You'll find her very frank and cooperative.
What else against Sandy Bigelow?
I have information that Bigelow made a substantial cash deposit in his bank account, the Craigmore Savings Bank. That's a bank in another county, mind you. A fact significant in itself.
Who could tip you to the status of Bigelow's bank account?
I'm going to be evasive about that, Craig.
Somebody connected with the bank, huh? An official or a teller?
I'm not answering that.
Now, why are you giving me these facts against Sandy Bigelow?
To expedite your investigation.
To hurry Bigelow into jail?
To accomplish that, yes.
Why not use the facts yourself for an expose feature? You're a newspaper man.
I tried to. My paper refused to use it. I'll write the story from the police blotter when you file arrest charges against Bigelow.
In the Craigmore Savings Bank, 70 miles across the county line, I persuaded the bank manager to give me a detailed memorandum on Bigelow's savings account. Persuading the bank manager meant unraveling a lot of red tape, satisfying bank policy and protocol, but I got what I was after. My next stop was the Blue Lantern. The owner, Gussie Daniels, was the Amazon type who could lick her weight in men, and probably did, from the looks of her patrons. Her answers were frank and cooperative.
He was in here, all right, that Bigelow. Over in that corner there, trying not to look conspicuous.
Bigelow was in here frequenting with gamblers.
Nose to nose, talking to him over beer and pretzels.
Can you identify particular gamblers you saw Bigelow with?
All that New York crowd. I had a state cop name a few for me. One named Johnny Minton. Oh, mean looker. Another named Richie Silk. Crazy about my cheese mix and potato chips, that one. And a third with a funny name that sounds like Bongo or something.
Bozo the Bull?
Yeah, that's it. Had a bad stomach. Never ate or drank anything in here.
Bozo the Bull served time last year for fixing a Midwest basketball game.
Well, he's right here up to his fixing tricks. And Bigelow's in with him.
How often would you say Bigelow was in here?
Well, it's twice that I've seen him, and there are nights when I'm not here. That's Wednesday and Friday when I'm babysitting from a married daughter. Ada May, that's my daughter. I'm a grandmother.
Oh, great. Buy a drink, Gussie?
Sure you can. Buttermilk.
Before making a cause célèbre of the coach, I had a talk with him. Circumstances could be damning on their face, yet untrue. I've been a cop too long not to know that. Bigelow tried explaining his meetings with known gamblers.
I've nothing to be ashamed of. I sought those certain gentry out in order to warn them.
Warn them of what?
To keep away from my boys. You see, there'd been anonymous phone calls to Wisnowski and to Chris Ransom. Open hints of offered bribes. And both Wisnowski and Ransom reported the incidents to me. I told them to say nothing.
So you met with the gamblers discreetly to tell them off?
I threatened them with police action if they ever bothered my boys again. Well, you believe me, Craig?
Frankly, I'm not sure I do. Why do you bank 70 miles away in Craigmore?
Well, habit. I used to coach Craigmore College back in 1950, 5 years ago. I never canceled or transferred my bank account, that's all.
What's your balance there now?
My balance? Well, sir, about $1,200, I'd say. Why?
Got your bank book handy?
Why, no. In fact, I don't have it at all. It's been missing for months. It was mislaid or lost.
I see. Suppose I told you that your balance is more like, Wait, I have a bank memorandum on it with me. Here, have a look. You're up to $6,000, Bigelow.
$6,000? Well, that's impossible.
Fat deposits made periodically since the start of the basketball season. Well, what's your answer?
Craig, somebody's out to incriminate me, smear me, a frame-up. I haven't made a deposit in my Cragmore account in almost a year.
Now, you're not really asking me to believe a trick was worked on you, where, say, your bank book was stolen so that sneak deposits could be made, swelling your savings account.
Well, if that slip you showed me is actually so, yes. I am asking you to believe exactly that.
Character assassination through Kramer. I postponed judgment on Coach Bigelow for the time being. And pretty soon, events justified my discretion there. The team captain, Chris Ransom, had again been contacted by the gambling mob. And this time, Bigelow brought his boy to me.
A man named Smiley. He spoke to me in Leary's drugstore.
How much did he offer you?
$5,000. To be divided between myself and one other player I could recruit. He suggested I talk to Wisnowski.
Which game does the mob want dumped?
The last one on our schedule. Against Barnaby Tech.
Oh, Bigelow.
Yes, Craig?
How does Blankhurst U compare with Barnaby Tech?
Well, we've beaten them 3 years running by margins of 20 points or more.
Meaning Blankhurst U should enter the game and odds-on favorite.
Oh, I should say so, yes.
The mob wants to bet Barnaby Tech heavy and make a final killing. Okay.
Okay. June 9th, 1955, William Gargan as Barrie Craig Confidential Investigator. The conclusion comes up following these words on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
No offense, but are you a little fat when you look in the mirror? How would you like to learn the secrets to lose 3 to 5 pounds a week easily without joining the gym or going through any crazy diets? It's called Body Sculpt by Med Diet. For the last 2 decades, we've been helping people just like you that have pounds they want to shed. We've helped millions of people lose thousands and thousands of pounds over the years. And now it's your turn. Learn the secrets of how to lose weight with one simple phone call. You'll see an amazing difference in a matter of days. Don't believe us? We'll offer you a money-back guarantee. If you're ready to start losing weight right now, call right now to learn more about your risk-free order to Body Sculpt.
Call for your risk-free offer. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. That's 800-738-5332.
Are you in bad pain? You know what I mean. Your knees hurt. Your shoulder hurts. Your elbow and back are constantly killing you. And I'm sure you've tried every pain pill or cream available at the drugstore. Am I right? Well, here's something you haven't tried. Pain Magic. Pain Magic is not available at any drugstore. The only place you can get it is by calling the special toll-free number I'm about to give you.
And to make things even better, call right now and find out about our buy one, get one free offer. We're so confident it'll work for you that we offer a free bottle with your purchase. No prescription required.
Call now to learn how you can get Pain Magic and get rid of your pain. Remember, your results may vary.
800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. That's 800-492-8164.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the conclusion of Barrie Craig, Confidential Investigator, as it was originally broadcast June 9th, 1955.
We'll accept the bribe.
Accept? Now, you wait a minute, Mr. Craig.
To teach the mob a bitter lesson, where it hurts most in the pocketbook. You will accept the bribe, Ransom. Promise to dump the game along with Wisnowski, and then play your fool heads off. Trim Barnaby Tech from here to Timbuktu. The game against Barnaby was played as scheduled. Wisnowski and Chris Ransom played the best ball of that or any other year. They scored almost at will. At the final whistle, the score was 76-38, favoring Blankhurst. I've never seen a more shattered bunch than that gambling clique. They looked as if the specter of the breadline haunted them. The Blankhurst team got a rising ovation. was in the offices of the Herald-Gazette the following a.m. I read Sophie Slater's column back to her. Question. Was there reverse dumping in last night's Blankhurst-Barnaby game? Why the sudden life to Wisnowski and Ransom? Was it that certain elements required a better than 20-point spread in order to cash in? I'm only asking. Well, Slater.
Well, what?
Why the awful lie?
Is it a lie?
Malicious, deliberate, cowardly. I happen to know this time. Wisnowski and Ransom deliberately cheated cheaters last night. They took bribe money on my say-so, agreed to dump so far as the gamblers were concerned, but instead played to win. Why are you so passionately anxious to smear?
I've got nothing to say.
Then answer this. Why have you been plotting to destroy Coach Bigelow? Destroy him by frame-up.
Bigelow rates everything I can dish out to him. That man isn't human.
Then there's a personal motive against Bigelow. What, Slater? Go on, talk.
Bigelow is a paragon of virtue. Thinks of himself as a god. He sees life as a blackboard maxim. You're either very good or very bad. No shadings in between. If you're very good, he loves and adores you. If you're bad or weak or just a fool, Bigelow will crucify you. No mercy, no quarter, no human understanding.
Who was it so close to you that Bigelow crucified?
My son, Bob. Bob played for Crabmore College once, 8 years ago, when Bigelow coached there. Bob made a slip.
Your son took a bribe?
Yeah, but he didn't go through with his bargain. My son did not dump, but Bigelow never took that into consideration. The fact that my son wrestled with his conscience and won, Bigelow didn't care to hear. He drummed my son out of college basketball.
Your son was Bob Slater?
Bob Quonset. We changed our name to Slater.
There's a meeting today in Dean Palmer's office. Keene, Bigelow, the college trustees, and me. You be there too, Slater. We'll get all the truth there, out in the open. There's a kind of catharsis for everybody. When we're done, we let the police study the minutes of our meeting, decide what action they want to take. You'll come, huh, Slater? Get it off your chest?
You have been listening to William Gargan in another exciting transcribed mystery drama from the adventures of Barrie Craig, confidential investigator. Tonight's story, Sucker Bait, was written by John Robert. The National Broadcasting Company has just brought you an NBC Radio Network production with William Gargan starring as Barrie Craig, confidential investigator, directed by Andrew C. Love. Our cast included Norman Field, Jess Kirkpatrick, John Stevenson, Joe Forte, and Gloria Ann Simpson.
June 9th, 1955, Barrie Craig, confidential investigator on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Are you suffering with arthritis or osteoporosis? Do you have diabetes? Did you know that these are just two of the hundreds of diseases that have seen improvement with Dr. Wallach's incredible longevity products? You can't get them at a health food store. The only way to get them is to call us at 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Do you have heart disease, fibromyalgia, or high blood pressure? Do you have a terrible time losing weight? Dr. Wallach can help. He was a veterinarian and cured diseases in animals. He felt that he could do the same for humans, so he became a physician. Over 50 years of research and helping people like you goes into every bottle of Dr. Wallach's amazing discoveries. Do you want to feel better? Learn how to treat the cause of your problem rather than covering up the symptoms with drugs. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, an episode of the soap opera Claudia from June 9th, 1948.
Your Coca-Cola bottler presents Claudia, based on the famous play and novels by Rose Franken. Brought to you transcribed Monday through Friday by your friendly neighbor who bottles Coca-Cola. Relax, and while you're listening, refresh yourself. Have a Coke. And now, Claudia.
Come in, Claudia.
It's me, Mr. Norton.
Oh.
You're working? Maybe I'm disturbing you?
Oh, no. Come on in. This is a very informal house whose basic philosophy appears to be that work was created to be disturbed. Come on in, Claudia.
It's me, David.
Oh, hello, Mama.
You're working. Maybe I'm disturbing you.
No. Come right on in.
You are working. Oh, hello, Jeffrey.
Think nothing of it.
Hello, Mrs. Brown.
David?
Yes, dear?
Working?
Yes, dear?
Mean. I can't find anybody. The house is so quiet.
Remarkable and unusual.
You haven't any idea where Mama is?
Not the foggiest.
Well, it's not like her to disappear into thin air like this.
Oh, she'll probably turn up someday.
You don't sound as if you were working.
No?
I'm coming in. Oh, Mama, you're here. Hello, Jeff.
Hello, Mrs. Norton.
What's all going on in here?
We were having a conference.
About what?
We haven't decided yet.
Without me?
We were waiting for you.
Well, I'm here. What shall we talk about?
Say, Mr. Norton, this is a wonderful ride.
That's as good a thing to talk about as anything. What? Trout fishing. David never minds talking about trout fishing.
Jeff, your dad's been on the stream with me when he would have given his left arm, not his casting arm, to own that one you're holding in your hand.
Gee.
Do you like to fish?
Dr. Brainerd took me out a year ago a couple of times.
Who's Dr. Brainerd?
He was the headmaster of our school. He retired this year.
Oh.
He was going to take me fishing this year after the examinations. He wrote a book on fishing.
Oh, that Dr. Brainerd. I've read his book.
A schoolmaster writing a book on fishing?
Mm-hmm.
Well, meeting's adjourned. All those in favor say aye.
Aye?
Aye what?
I think we ought to go fishing.
Well, I've got a lot of work to do.
There's no work you won't do better for having got some of this fishing bug out of your system.
Mrs. Brown, are you aware of the fact that you are a very wise woman and a very wonderful mother?
What about me? It was my idea.
Remind me to tell you sometime that you are your mother's daughter and also a very wise woman.
Thank you.
Jeff, hike upstairs and change your clothes. I've got a pair of wading boots to lend you.
Say, Mr. Norton, that'd be great.
I'll let you use this Leonard rod.
Oh, gee, thanks, Mr. Norton.
I think you're very generous, David.
Generous?
Yes, with all the work you have to do to take Jeff fishing. So unselfish of you.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
Breaks my heart.
What, my generosity?
No. Jeff and the way he's feeling. Getting expelled from school.
Somehow I can't think of that boy as a cheat.
Yeah, wasn't any mistake about it, though. He was talking to me last
But
night.
he's bright. He doesn't have to cheat.
What puzzles me, his grades were good as gold.
Maybe there was some extenuating circumstance.
There probably was. However, the particular code of Roger and Jeff could more easily condone murder than it could cheating.
But he's a good boy.
Mama divides things into good things and bad things.
Mama is, as I said a moment ago, a very wise old duck.
I'm all ready, Mr. Norton.
Be right with you. The rest of the gear's in the hall closet. Goodbye, darling.
When will you be back?
When they get back. I know more about men who go fishing than you do, Claudia.
And we'll have fish for dinner?
We sure will.
And we'll have some hamburger steak in the icebox just for insurance.
Pessimist.
Just a wise old duck. The man I happen to have been married to, your father, used to go fishing on occasion.
It's 6 o'clock. What do you suppose has happened to them?
They're fishing.
But at this hour?
Your father would sometimes fish in the dark if the fish were biting, and sometimes when they weren't.
I'm glad we have some hamburger steak.
Woo! Hey, we're home.
Talk of the devil.
Well, you two look a sight.
Jeff went in over his waders and got soaking.
You ought to take a hot bath and get into some dry things immediately.
That's just what he's going to do immediately.
Oh, I'm all right.
Well, how many fish?
3, not too big, though.
Mr. Norton caught them.
Jeff hooked a really big one, huge.
It got away.
Oh, that's too bad. Let's see, 3 fish and 4 grown people. It's a good thing we have hamburger ready.
Hamburger and trout. It's a good combination. I've eaten it before.
Spoken like the true mother-in-law of a fisherman. Hike along, Jeff, and get out of those wet things and into a hot tub.
I won't be long.
But you had a good time.
Had a great time.
Oh, David, the tip of your rod. It's broken.
Oh, things like that happen.
Your best rod.
My second best now. I've got another tip. Anyway, it was well worth it.
Must have been a very big fish.
It was, Mama. It was a wonderful experience. Supper not ready yet?
It'll be ready in half an hour. You know, you can't cook up a great mess of fish like you brought home in the twinkle of an eye.
All right, Twinkle Eyes. I want to make a telephone call.
The picture of a happy man.
Operator, long distance. I want North Haven, Massachusetts. The Winegate School. Yes, a person-to-person to Dr. Brainerd.
Private,
No.
mind if I sit down in the arm of your chair?
What's up? You usually choose my lap.
It isn't easy to talk on the telephone with someone on your lap.
Thoughtful of you.
I thought you'd appreciate it.
Hello? Yes, Dr. Brainerd. Dr. Brainerd, personally, please.
What was it that swallowed the what that looked so self-satisfied about it?
The cat that swallowed the mouse.
Well, what happened?
Well, hello? Dr. Brainerd, this is David Norton speaking. David Norton. I've read your book about fishing the wet fly upstream. Yes.
Silly, the great modern miracle of the telephone reduced to two grown men talking about fish.
Well, that's what
How'd you like your trout cooked, David? Broiled with a little bacon?
Uh-huh.
He likes them with a halo on a gold filigree plate.
Well, the trick is to take up the line so there's no drag.
Sit down, Mama. This is good.
Well, Dr. Brainerd, what I really called you about was to tell you a fish story.
He catches a 9-inch trout, Mama, and he makes a long-distance call to tell the world about it.
Yes, sir. Well, yes, it happened this afternoon. A young man you went fishing with a year ago. No, I'll tell you his name later. I was up on the bank behind him, and he couldn't see me. He'd hooked a big one, 16 inches at the least, and he played him like an expert. Yes, sir, it was a sight to see. Well, Mr. Trout connected with a sunken log. Yes. Yes, well, it's happened to the best of us, you're right. Well, what happened next shouldn't have happened to a Leonard rod, but that's happened to the best of us, too. No, he didn't break the tackle. He went right after it.
Said he fell in.
Shh, Claudia. Anyway, he got wet. Yes, Doctor. Oh, it was colder than Greenland's icy shore. When he got to the log, it was deep, so he went under. Oh, yes, the fish was still on. No, he hadn't broken free. And when he came up, Doctor, he had the fish in his hands. Oh, it was all of 16 inches. No, he didn't. He unhooked the fish and slipped it back into the water, Doctor. As he was dripping water on the bank, I asked him why. Yeah, well, he said it wouldn't have been fair to take the fish, that fly fishing was a sport, that it wouldn't be according to the rules to take him that way, and that the fish had outsmarted him and had earned his freedom, and a better fisherman would have kept him away from the log. Yes, and mind you, Doctor, he thought nobody was watching him. Yes. Well, I thought you'd like that story. You're teaching a nice brand of sportsmanship in your school, Doctor. You'd like to go fishing with him again? Well, that might be difficult to arrange, Doctor. You see, he was dismissed from school 3 days ago for cheating. Yes, it's young Jeffrey Killian I'm talking about. I know it doesn't hang together and make sense. He was an A student. Well, that doesn't hang together either. Well, the family picture's none too happy, Doctor. The boy worships his father, but they're not too close. Oh, probably all mixed up with trying to be perfect for his father. Oh, yes, that's exactly my point. It is sort of unfinished business on the part of the school.
To err is human.
Thank you, Mother, thank you. Yes, to err is human, And the school was perhaps a little less than divine, Doctor. Yes, I agree with you. There's too much in the boy to send him out into the world with the label of a cheat. You will? What can I tell him? Well, I don't know which he'll look forward to more, Doctor. And, Doctor, I wouldn't retire from the school too completely. I think the boys need your kind of a man. And probably your new headmaster does, too. Well, thank you. Well, by the way, is your successor a fisherman? No? Well, maybe you'd better take him out on the stream. There's a lot about human nature to be learned on the butt end of a trout rod. Yeah. Well, goodbye, Doctor. Yes, I'd like to meet you on Whitewater, too, someday.
David, tell us, what did he say? What's he going to do?
I've just made a date for Jeffrey to go fishing with Dr. Brainerd. He's to go up to school before it opens. That'll be the end of the trout season.
Yes.
And should it happen to rain too hard some morning, Dr. Brainerd will give Jeff another examination in American history. Hey, Jeff. Jeff, hurry on down when you're ready. I've got some news for you about a fishing trip.
You mean we're going fishing again? Say, that's great.
Well, when it comes about, I may be able to be with you.
Do you know what I think?
Yes, Mama. That I've married one of the finest, most wonderful fathers my sons could ever have.
Sons? Are you expecting to have twins?
I'd like to. I can't wait to have a whole big family full. And I can't wait until they're old enough to go fishing with David.
Hey, you two. How long do we two fishermen have to wait until dinner? You know, I am famished.
About 16 years to the dinner I'm thinking about, darling. Dum 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 dum. La 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 la.
Do you ever stop in at your local youth center? Whether they're talking or dancing or playing games or listening to records, there's one thing certain. The young folks are drinking Coke. For where there's youth, there's Coca-Cola. That you can depend on. And one way to make your house popular with your children's friends is to keep a good supply of Coke on ice. It's a friendly custom and a growing one.
Gee, Mr. King, isn't Mr. Norton a swell guy?
They don't make 'em any better, Jeff.
Their kids will be awful lucky. I wish my parents... Oh, well.
Oh, I don't know your mother, Jeffrey, but I think your dad's a fine man.
Dad's all right. If I saw him more. But it's kind of hard for him to have me around, Mother not being home much of the time. I hate to have to tell her.
Maybe you won't have to tell her. Maybe Claudia and David will do it for you. What would you say if your mother were to show up here tomorrow?
Oh, she won't show up. That's not like Mother.
Well, come around tomorrow, Jeff, and we'll find out what your mother's really like. So long, Bud. As I was about to say, every day, Monday through Friday, Claudia comes to you transcribed with the best wishes of your friendly neighbor who bottles Coca-Cola. So listen again tomorrow at the same time. And now this is Joe King saying au revoir. And remember, whoever you are, whatever you do, wherever you may be, when you think of refreshment, think of Coca-Cola. For Coca-Cola makes any pause the pause that refreshes, and ice-cold Coca-Cola is everywhere. This broadcast of Claudia was supervised and directed by William Brown Maloney.
A different time back then, wasn't it? June 10th, 1948, Claudia on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thanks for making us a part of your day. Please thank this station. Support their advertisers. It's their kindness and courtesy that allows us to be with you each and every time we roll around here on your favorite station. Now, if you miss a day, you don't have to miss a single show. Our shows are available through Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcast, Amazon, a whole bunch of other places. Just search on your favorite podcast application for Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. That's Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Odds are you'll find us there. Also, you can find them at our webpage, classicradio.stream, streaming our shows on demand. Learn more about Classic Radio Collecting. You can contact us through our social media or just contact me directly. And you can also, if you like what we do, buy me a coffee. I'm Wyatt Cox. Tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.